Well, the people have spoken. Let's begin. Hello, people of YouTube, and welcome to the Spikehead podcast for the first of my Throwback Thursday reviews, where I talk about films that have long since come and gone that I did enjoy, that unfortunately not everyone talks about, and I want to shine a little light on these films. And thanks to the Twitter poll, today we are going to be talking about my favourite, yes, I said it, my favourite Disney movie, Treasure Planet. But before we begin, drop a like, that really helps the channel a lot, and if you do like what I do on this channel, then feel free to hit that subscribe button as well. But without further ado, let's begin. So, Treasure Planet is Disney's answer to the classic pirate novel Treasure Island, and it's directed by two directors in Ron Clements and John Musker, and stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Emma Thompson, Brian Murray, and Martin Short. So the overall plot of this, as I've said, is basically the plot of Treasure Island. A young boy called James Hawkins, that everyone calls Jim, apart from his mother. Jim is a wild child who's gone off the rails since his father left him and his mother years ago, and he craves adventure and escaping where he lives. He is stuck working in a diner for his mother when they come across a gentleman called Billy Bones, who has a golden ball that turns out to be a map to Treasure Planet, an infamous planet that contains all the gold stolen by Captain Flint, a notorious pirate from Jim's stories back when he was a kid. So him and his friend Dr. Delbert Dobler, who's basically a dog person, decide to hire a crew for a ship to ferry him to Treasure Planet. Unfortunately, all is not as it seems, as Jim forms a bond with a cook called Mr. Silver, and they form a bond that becomes very father and son-like, not knowing that Silver is actually got evil intentions for this mission and has an obsession with this treasure that he wants to take for himself. Now, going into why I love this movie so much, first of all, I just related so much to the bond between Jim and Silver. That's what carries this movie. The bond between them two is fantastic, and it's all really encompassed in that I'm Still Here segment sung by John Rzeznik from the Goo Goo Dolls. That is arguably my favourite sequences in Disney history. Just the lyrics of it, the cutbacks to his father leaving, him growing up, his dream of adventuring. It is really, really good, and the scene at the end, if you've seen this film, I hope you've seen this film, it gets to me every time. The hug, the makings of greatness dialogue, it just all rounds up into this bow, and the development between these two. I don't know why no one talks about this film, because the development and bond between these two characters is second to none. Also, I just love the ideas behind this film. They take the piracy element and they send it into space, and they have the ability to create all these creatures. So we got Mr. Owl being a rock monster, Amelia the captain basically being a cat, Dobler basically being a dog, we have Scroop who is basically a spider, and even Silver is a cyborg with his high-tech eye. There are a lot of creative ideas in this. I believe this is the first Disney movie that wasn't Pixar. I think this was before Pixar actually, but I believe this was the film that first blended 3D animation and 2D together into a sequence, and they got their way to demonstrate its ability. The hang glider thing, I can't remember what it's called, but the hang glider that Jim rides on is fantastic. I always wanted one of those as a kid. I just binge watched this film over and over again when I was younger. And even when they get to the island, like Ben, he's a comic relief, almost Jar Jar Binks-esque character, but he is likeable in his own silly, goofy way. And you could forget more of the lovable little pink ball that can turn into whatever the hell it wants. He is probably my favourite part of this film. He is so adorable for a little glob. Also, I really like the villains in this. Silver's more of he's a sympathetic villain, whereas we have Scroop, the Spider Psycho.
Spider Psycho. Spider Psycho.
A little uglier.
He is bloody evil. This is one of those films that actually kills off a character. They do rip off the Lion King a bit with Arrow falling off the edge, having to climb up his rope, and Scroop just looking at him in the eyes and letting him fall into the black hole. By the way, that black hole sequence is bloody fantastic as well. Yeah, I think Scroop was definitely... He was an intimidating villain for me, because when I was a kid I had a fear of spies as well, so that really got to me also. In terms of negatives that I might have with this film, there are a couple of the alien characters that feel a bit weird. There's a character that's basically his language is farting. He's like a plunger creature, and Double talks to him. It's just basically a big fart conversation. That didn't even make me laugh as a kid, let alone as an adult. Also, I feel like the mum could have got more development. It feels like she just whines a lot in this film. And in terms of other negatives, I will say is that the only thing that makes it fall short for me is the black hole sequence. As amazing as it is, it's funny that they are held from falling overboard by these ropes, but it's in space. It's all science fiction, I know that. I can't really nitpick it too much, but the fact that it's a rope that keeps them on there, like, you'd think they would have something like gravity boots or something along those lines, but I guess they had the scapegoat, Jim Matar. And I didn't like how Jim was so quick to give up at times as well. He knows he did the lifelines, but he sees it undone and is like, oh, I screwed up, I'll let someone die. But luckily Sylvan had to come in with a great little speech for him, and suddenly Jim forgets that he maybe potentially murdered someone, as far as we're aware, Jim still thinks he killed Mr. Arrow, which is an unfortunate part of this film. In terms of the vocal performances though, the fact I forgot who was in this, and now watching it back and seeing the actors, it's like, yep, that's definitely Emma Thompson as the cat. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who was around this time about to go into 10 Things I Hate About You, this babyface kid's voicing Jim. Now I think about it, Jim does look like Joseph Gordon-Levitt as well. But the standout has to be Brian Murray. He is carrying a lot of sinister tones in his voices when he's being sympathetic to Jim. At first he's just doing it to try and get on his soft side, but nope, he eventually falls in with him, and Jesus Christ, his voice just sells it. It is an amazing vocal performance by him. I can't believe I've not heard of him in more films. If he has been in more films that you guys are aware of, please let me know. But let's be real, the whole bond between Jim and Sylvia is what makes this movie, and it has some fantastic action sequences as well. So overall, guys, Treasure Planet is a film I will defend to the death. A lot of people have a problem that it blends old pirate ships with space, but me personally, I love that element of this film. I feel like it is a very underrated Disney classic, and I'm so glad I've seen from some of you guys on film Twitter that a lot of people do actually enjoy this film. That really brightens my day. And I will say, it's not a perfect film by any stretch of imagination. There are flaws in it, but the story and the characters is what makes this film, and the sequences ain't half bad either. So with that in mind, I'm going to say that Treasure Planet is a great cup of tea. So guys, if you did enjoy what I was doing with this video, feel free again to subscribe to this channel and follow my social media. I'll be posting more posts like this and aim to get a video like this up every Thursday now. And while you're here as well, what did you think of Treasure Planet? Let me know down in the comments below. And until next time, everybody, this is That Spikehead Podcast, signing off.